All right, everyone. The Dr. Alex Show is brought to you by Shed Light Cold Lasers. And Shed Light Cold Lasers has been a game changer for us at HML professionally and personally at home. Personally, on a personal note, I had a very bad bout of vertigo. And I got probably 85% there by going to a few different functional neurologists over the years to help me out with it. Then I bought this. And this is a game changer because one, it's portable. That means I can take it to the office, use it on patients all day, make sure it stays charged, come on home, and then throw it in my pocket and use that home. And this is what cleared up my vertigo. Now, professionally, the way it's been the game changer for us in the office is that it has cut our results down by 50%. This can get used on just about anything, any disease disorder that you can think of, it can pretty much get used on. Now, as far as how it has helped us out, it's cut everything down by 50% on our times. So when we're working with our kids with special needs, when we're working with our chronic neurological disorders, autoimmune diseases, to get those people into a good point that they're happy and that we're happy, times have been cut by 50%. You will definitely want to go check out shedlightcoldlasers.com or email Griswold at shedlightinformation@gmail.com, 518-338-6658. Well, all right, everyone. Welcome back to the Dr. Alex Show. I have one of my favorite people here in office, and that is Victor Pritchard over from Apex Energetics. Apex Energetics is a sponsor of the Dr. Alex Show. Very proud to say, a sponsor of the Dr. Alex Show. And that's because Apex Energetics has completely changed how we get the results with our patients in office. And it completely changed how I practice. And I got to know Victor it must have been 2013 when you had reached out to me when I was still in the Kansas City area.
Yeah.
Yes. Then you kept track of me when I moved to Chicago and practiced for a year. Mm-hmm. And that's when I actually met you in person. I took a 2-hour course on, I believe it was gluten sensitivity, and it's links to autoimmunity. And Dr. Lucas Gafkin, did I pronounce his last name correctly?
Yeah, Luke Gafkin.
Yep, he spoke. That was awesome. It just a simple 2-hour course gave me so much ammo to go out and be dangerous, as I like to say. Mm-hmm. And then the rest is history. You have helped me out so much with being able to get product, get into the seminars, get a better understanding. If I lose the Apex Energetics patient questionnaires, it's I just email you and you send them right back to me. All of that. So I want to say thanks for coming on, and of course being a sponsor of the Dr. Alex Show. Greatly appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm happy to be here and always excited.
Thank you. I will preface this with my son is sitting right next to me over there. He's off camera. So it's funny. He's getting ready to turn 5 tomorrow.
Wow.
And it looks like Nick might pan over a little bit. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
So Kuiper, Kaiper, turning 5 tomorrow. He is the son of 2 chiropractors. And fun fact, chiropractic's birthday is tomorrow as well.
Oh, wow.
The first recorded ever adjustment out of Davenport, Iowa. D.D. Palmer adjusted a gentleman in Davenport, Iowa, and that was the first recorded adjustment. And it's said to be the anniversary or the birthday of chiropractic. And he was born in the evening on September 18th. So,
happy birthday, Kuiper!
Hey, Victor said happy birthday. Can you say thank you? He's getting his never allotted screen time, so he is locked in.
He's locked in. He's focused.
Yeah. Hey, you keep it down, please. I don't want to make Nick have to edit you out a lot. Anyway, so what I want to at first ask is, it fascinates me some of the history of Apex. Can you tell me how Apex came about?
Yeah, it's actually. something I always like to share because a lot of times we get asked that question and people don't realize that actually Apex started out as a homeopathic company. The owner had a great passion for homeopathy, nutrition, and working on his own health and making it better. And he started as a homeopathy company with something called our Futureplex line, and it has evolved as well. We still have it available, and then we really had major breakthroughs when we started working with Dr. Karazian, and our nutritional line, the K line, which stands for Karazian, was developed, and we had such a huge, overwhelming response. And then with additions like our seminars, our education, our simulcasts, the overall support that we really try to promote, that's something that I'm always proud to, is promoting the support, the practitioner advisors, the on-demand education. It's just a wonderful model that the owner has put together at Apex Energetics.
100%. It makes it so much easier as a practicing doc to be able to get the information. And when it comes to practice, personally, one of the things that I am currently working on a lot is getting more and more functional medicine education. And the majority of it comes from Apex. And I wouldn't have gotten that start, I know, without Apex. Just a simple 2-hour course in Chicago, another mastering functional blood chemistry out of St. Louis, another functional endocrinology seminar in St. Louis. And that set up a precedence to just get a lot of phenomenal results with patients, long-term results that completely change their lives.
Right, exactly.
And with that, the other thing that I like, and maybe you touched on this, is the practitioner clinical support. So
Yeah,
for the docs out there, you have basically an on-call team of docs that you can set up appointments with to get help with cases, and it's awesome.
it really
Absolutely love
is.
it.
Yeah, no, it's such a great service because I think when doctors are especially starting off in functional medicine, there's a lot of information they're being exposed to. It can become very overwhelming and they don't know where to start. So being able to have myself, have a team of practitioner advisors, have a customer service, and being able to provide them fuel or tools, like you mentioned, to make you dangerous,
Hmm.
it's really remarkable, and you get it all in one location.
Yeah, for a while there, I was on a first name basis with Dr. Newman, Aaron Newman,
Hmm.
and kind of still am. He even remembers some of the cases. I'll call in and I'll call him and I'll say, "Hey, this is what I have, and here are the labs," and we go over it, and he gives me some advice and helps me out. And then he'll even remember. I've called him so much, he'll remember. He'd be like, "Hey, how about that 13-year-old, or how about that 40-year-old with this that was
Right.
going on?" And
Yeah.
that's how often I called him.
No, I mean that's the great thing about it, and especially because the practitioner advisors, they're in there with you, they're invested with their time as well. So it's amazing that they can remember a certain case that they talked with you about because they talk about so many of them throughout the day and the weeks.
Oh yeah, yeah, and they're all great. I've just it just seems to be Dr. Newman is always the easiest to get a hold of on my schedule, but
Yeah.
all the rest of them are fantastic.
Yeah, everyone has their favorite there, so that's what makes them all unique.
Right, right. Uh, you had mentioned Dr. Karazian. How did he get started with Apex?
Dr. Karazian, he's actually started off working for Apex, I believe, back in the late 90s. He was one of our first uh, clinicians on our team that was working with formulations. And he developed the K line. And he started off with probably about 40 or 50 products when I was first there at Apex. And from now we have over 150 formulas.
Hmm.
And he's developed his model based around supporting the most chronically sensitive autoimmune types of patients.
Yep.
And he put together this model by all of his research, all the studying that he's done over the years. Now with him being part of Harvard Medical Institute as someone that's been doing amazing information on autoimmunity. He's really been the leader in that area, but he's also great and also supporting neurological issues. He was also part of the Carrick Institute. So with his amazing background of combining the functional medicine along with the nutrition, the neurology, the endocrinology, it's just amazing. And I think what is unique about it is how he can combine all of that information into a weekend topic, and how it's all
Yeah.
part of the same web. It's all part of something that we have to look at when we look at underlying mechanisms, when we're trying to address more chronic issues that people may have with food sensitivities, environmental triggers, to the point where patients can get autoimmunity into the brain and they develop ataxias. And he's developed all these different seminars where you're able to evaluate a patient from day one. And I think, again, this is what makes this model so unique, because it's him, it's his model, his approach, it's everything that he's seen in clinical practice. He's a clinician himself, so he's in there in the trenches just like everyone else. But he really does such an amazing job presenting and packaging the education for doctors to learn.
Yes. And I can't sing those praises enough, because this is not meant to come off braggadocious or arrogant in any way. But when chronically ill people are trying to seek answers, they will go from doctor to doctor to doctor. And then they'll go from functional medicine practitioner to functional medicine practitioner, or functional neurologist to functional neurologist. And we all have those patients when we're working in this functional medicine and functional neurology world. And we all have our ups and we all have our downs. And with a few simple courses just a few years ago formulated from Dr. Karazian, people come in and they have spent upwards of 6 figures on their health out of pocket. I within an office visit or two, I can have an answer for them. And that's not an original, like Dr. Alex thought or anything like that. It's because it's all that information, like you said, packed into one. You got this binder that you take home, and then you have all this information from a weekend. And I'm like, well, there it is. Got it. We got you, we got some answers for you, potentially. And give it some time, and then we'll see. Because that's the nature of chronic diseases. You got to give it a little bit of time to turn around. But
Absolutely. And I think, again, like you said, with so many of these more chronically ill autoimmune types of patients that are walking through the front door, it's very hard for a lot of them, and they probably have been through many, many clinicians and they haven't had any answers.
Yep.
So, and I think, again, that's, all part of Dr. Karazian, why he wanted to put together a rich pack full information seminars, formulas that match up with the education, which is also key in all this. Everything that he's developed, from formulas to help support glutathione levels, to modulating blood sugar, to supporting the brain. It's all backed by the science, the research, everything that he's looked at all the published research, and now put it all together into a model where doctors can now say, yes, there is hope. We have some things that we can be proactive on. We can modulate some things. We can maybe change your diet. We can look at giving you the most supreme types of immune neutral formulas out there to help support you. And again, like you said, it's information that is just so well put together, all in one place.
Yeah, and now that you mention autoimmune, and I've mentioned a couple times, probably the big tidbit for patients, this is kind of off topic about, well, not really off topic about Apex, but it's that in the medical world, what a lot of people don't understand, a lot of patients, maybe even doctors don't understand, is the reason that Apex Energetics focuses a lot on what's called immune neutral products, where you're not going to stimulate your immune system one way or another, is because there are more autoimmune cases in the United States than there probably are diabetes, for instance. To my knowledge, if I have my stats right, there's probably more people walking around with Hashimoto's, which is autoimmune thyroid, than there are type 2 diabetes.
Yeah, prevalent,
Very
definitely.
prevalent. And the kicker with all of this, which is very shocking, is there is no medical based practitioner that is a specialist in autoimmune diseases. So there are rheumatologists that work on autoimmune joint disease like rheumatoid arthritis. There are neurologists, there are gastroenterologists, there are endocrinologists, there's all these ologists. But with autoimmunity, there isn't a specialist that can help modulate, like you said, the patient along their way with other specialists. So these people get bounced around from specialist to specialist, and they might get some input, they might get some answers, they may not. And then they come into our world, and then they get potentially some answers. And even in the world of functional medicine, it seems like the practitioners that are well aware of autoimmune, most importantly, the triggers of autoimmune, are practitioners that have dipped their toes in using Apex, because it's big and it's very undertreated. And Dr. Krasian's, one of his 3 or 4 degrees is basically in autoimmunity. And his research partner, Dr. Vigiani, is 40 or 50 years of experience as an immunologist, and the majority of that is in autoimmune. It's absolutely huge, and that's probably like the biggest like key takeaway to if you are dealing with autoimmune is there isn't a specialist, so you have to unfortunately sort your way through finding someone that can help you through that.
Exactly. No, it's well said. Just because, like you mentioned, there's not that specialist out there, so it's very frustrating for a lot of patients. So now being able to have a clinician that they can come in and see some answers, see some shifts, see some changes without getting everything thrown at them at once, it just makes everyone's life more easier. And patients need that. They need that guidance. They need that hope. They need to be able to know that, there's going to be some things that we're going to be able to help you with and support you with down the road.
Yep. Before I go into your background with Apex a little bit, probably the other, and forgive me if there's something else I'm missing at the moment, but probably the biggest thing that sets Apex apart from other product lines or manufacturers, sorry, is what I quickly learned is all of their products are not single nutrient therapy, other than a couple. But even, for instance, like vitamin D, there is the Ultra D 5000 product that has vitamin D, 5,000 IUs of vitamin D, but it also has all of the cofactors, nutrients, maybe a couple other vitamins, minerals, maybe even herbs to help that nutrient get absorbed in the best fashion. And that's what I like about Apex. I think that's probably the biggest thing that stands out for me amongst
Yeah.
other.
Oh yeah, no, that's a huge point, and I always like to bring that up. So thank you for bringing that up, because when you have a product line, especially uh, one that Dr. Karazian has put together, he always wants to try to give people the most maximum benefit from each formula. And by giving someone the maximum benefit, again, going back to his model, it's everything that he's researched, that he's seen published. He has taken multiple ingredients together that work synergistically all in one formula. And a lot
Yep.
of those ingredients individually are fantastic, but now when you combine them all in one formula, they can amplify the results.
Yep.
And like you said, that's what makes things so important, especially when it comes to formulas, because you want to make sure that it's going to get delivered, it's going to become absorbed, it's going to get up into the higher brain areas, it's going to get through the gut lining, it's going to get into the tissues, into the bloodstream. And with Apex, we have grown and evolved where we have different delivery methods as well, from everything from emulsification to micellized products to liposomal to transdermal creams to powders to acid resistant capsules. And again, this is all because Dr. Karazian understands different deliveries, different absorption is going to be different for everybody.
Yep.
And being able to pick and choose what's best for that patient is what it should be like. It shouldn't be one size fits all, because again, that's not the reality, unfortunately.
Right. Speaking of delivery systems, talk about the new delivery systems with the glutathiones and the other antioxidants. Because when those came out, when I was in the seminars, and we all sampled them just to sample them, see how they tasted,
Right.
which they're great. But when we understood the delivery systems, I mean, we were all like high-fiving each other. We're like, "Oh my gosh!"
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's huge, because it's kind of like you almost get an epiphany in those seminars, and you're like, it all ties together. It's all making sense now. I can see it. I can see it happening. And again, that's what's so unique, because Apex has delivered now recently, and I kind of refer to it as a new breakthrough in efficacy and compliance, is a liposomal glutathione called trisomal, which is essentially, if you've ever had liposomal glutathione, and I've had other ones, so I can testify it, ours is far more superior in taste. But what's most importantly is that it's delivered where it gets inside the cell. And that's the thing, as you know, with glutathione, it's very easily oxidized. So being able to have a liposomal form, and again, not just any form of glutathione, but an acetylated form, is what's huge about this, because it gets inside the cell and also outside the cell. And again, it goes back to a lot of those other cofactors. We have reduced glutathione, but we have it in a liposomal form. And then we also put some N-acetylcysteine, but not just plain N-acetylcysteine. We put it in liposomal N-acetylcysteine.
Yep.
So it's just such an amazing product. And then when you tie those in together with another formula like our glutathione recycler, where you can replenish glutathione, it's even more impactful. And I kind of really enjoyed it. I use it myself. My family uses it.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to explain to everyone, you want to be able to replenish and boost your glutathione. We
Yep.
call it the replenish and boost. And a lot of clinicians now understand the mechanism. They understand the delivery of it. They understand what they're trying to support. And especially right now, still in a pandemic, still everyone trying to build up their immune resilience, we have to replenish glutathione. I mean, it's just so critical. I mean, I've seen studies, I've been looking it up every other week, just trying to check on it. And I see more and more connections with everyone who's got some type of influenza or some type of virus, and how it was because glutathione was low, and
Yeah.
the glutathione levels were depleted. They were oxidized. They were just so depleted. So I was real excited when we came out with this liposomal form of it, along with the other glutathione formulas, because now I can really just build up what I call my immune resilience.
Yep. Yeah. And speaking of the pandemic, everyone's talking about your vitamin C, your vitamin D, your zinc, various herbs. I know that with even acutely infected people, but also the long haulers, as they're called, they're all getting the trisomal glutathione. And although the trisomal glutathione may not be quite as effective for breathing issues to get into the airways, it is amazing at what it does to help those people mitigate those issues that they've been holding on to for 4 weeks or 6 weeks. And then after a week of taking trisomal, things are virtually gone. For the breathing issues, if the trisomal can't somewhat knock it out, then there's other means that we're doing. But it is awesome how much trisomal that we're going through and using for that. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's like we're just all hosing each other down with some glutathione.
Yeah, might as well just fog it in the air and let everyone
Fog it in
breathe
the
it. And
air.
yep,
Oh wow! Could you imagine that? Our
that'd be
next idea.
that'd be yeah. Just throw that in the HVAC systems.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it'd go all right. Um, one of the last questions is, how the heck did you get involved with Apex?
I was actually introduced to Apex through a great colleague of mine, in our seminar department, and that's where I started in our education department, working with seminars, attending seminars, working with some of the practitioner advisors at the seminars, understanding again Dr. Krasian's model, the education, and it was really an amazing story because one of my good friends, Matthew Lipsy, I'll mention him. He's been a long time staple at Apex. He actually introduced me to them, and it was great. I mean, I've been there now over 13 years. I've learned a lot for myself. I've been able to meet great clinicians like yourself, being able to interact with them, try to offer them some of my knowledge, my support, try to give them everything that we want to promote. And really, it's been a great time, and I'm enjoying it all the time. I love connecting with doctors. It was a little bit different. I think we all had to alter our time and our schedule because of obviously coming off of the pandemic. But
Mm-hmm.
now it's good to see that doctors are now trying to do things more digitally. They're doing more things remotely, and they're still able to help patients. Because right now is when we all need the help the most right now. We all need to really make sure we're taking care of our health and really supporting our overall immune system. And it's great. And I really enjoy it. I love discussing the formulas. I use a lot of the formulas, as I mentioned, so I can testify to them. I love watching and going over a lot of the information that I learned 10 years ago, because now I just feel like, wow, I even learned something new now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a great time at Apex. They really do such a good job with just supporting doctors. They also have now more and more simulcasts that we're doing. So that's been interesting because now it's kind of like I have this whole library of simulcasts that I can offer. So, versus someone, wanting to go to a seminar, maybe they might have to wait a month till the next one came back. Now
Cool.
it's kind of like I can bring it to your house.
Yep.
As one doctor said, they're like, we have Apex movie night on Fridays. I'm like, I love it.
I love
So,
it.
whatever we can do to get the information into clinicians' hands, in front of them, so then again, they can help many other patients as well.
Cool. Um, couple couple other things that kind of come to mind is, first and foremost, we're, Victor and I are sitting here talking about um, autoimmune, for instance, and or changing people's lives around. We're not here making any claims of treating anything, but when it comes to the functional medicine world, when we evaluate people, when we look at people, and we're using great products like from Apex Energetics and making diet, nutritional, and lifestyle changes, you can certainly slow down the progress of diseases. You can certainly reverse that progress to an extent, but there's we're not here curing anything. And especially when it comes to autoimmune, that'll be one of the first things that comes out of Krasian's mouth. And as a matter of fact, in the last seminars I was learning from him through his institute is, after he's going on about things, he's just like, by the way, whoever's listening to this, if you have cured Hashimoto's, if you have cured rheumatoid arthritis, if you have cured any of these other juvenile diabetes, type 1 diabetes, if you have cured any of these, can you please step up and accept your Nobel Prize? Because these are very serious, progressive, degenerative diseases that don't have a cure. But what we're trying to do is increase someone's functionality and make them be able to, not make them, get them to be able to live their life a little bit and take away some of the pain, take away some of the aches, and allow them to live their life to do what it is that makes them happy. So just a couple note there, a note there for all the listeners. But the possibilities of what can be done are great. There's a lot of people that have gotten a lot of help, and for sure in our world here at HML, it's due to Apex, because I think 98% of what's on our shelf is Apex. And the only reason that we don't have some other products from Apex is just because you guys haven't gotten around to making it yet. That's it.
Yeah, as time goes on, hopefully we can try to have every single product available. But no, it's great. It's evolved, and I think even since you've seen it, I think you've seen it evolve even more and more. So every year we're always coming out with new formulas. We
Yep.
just actually came out with two new formulas that we're real excited about too. We came out with something called Tributen, which is
Yes.
great. Yeah, it's an oil-based butyric acid, and
Hmm.
it's a real unique formula, especially for mucosal immunity types of patients. Anyone who's having issues with supporting their gut mucosal lining, short chain fatty acids is phenomenal. It's now being referred to as postbiotics. So it's such a huge addition. And then we also came out with our super Tamaro. I call it a Superman Tamaro because it's like the super version because we added now ginger to it, and it's now have what's called tumerones, the BCM 95 curcuminoids. It's essentially has tumerones, and it also has curcumin in it,
Hmm.
and it's a great formula. And now we make it now where it's delivered in a micellized form. So we're constantly always evolving the products. We're trying to advance them, keep up with the latest and greatest things because information changes daily. And again, it's so exciting because when these new formulas come out, now it's something amazing that we can learn about and even know more information about and share with everyone else.
Yeah. And on the note of those products, for people that don't know those two things, when it comes to any short chain fatty acids like butyric acid or postbiotics, like you had said, they're huge in the world of digestion. And in the functional medicine world, there's a trend, neither right or wrong, but there's a trend where everyone's like, oh, you got to treat the gut first. And when it comes to the gut, one of the biggest things you can do is use short chain fatty acids because, speaking of being immune neutral, they're completely immune neutral. They feed your gut nutrients to help repair the actual gut itself. Plus, it feeds the good gut bacteria, as I say. So that way, that bacteria that lives in your gut can make proper immune signaling molecules, cytokines, hormones, neurotransmitters. And what I say is it kind of levels out the immune system with time. If the immune system is like a teeter totter, those short chain fatty acids help even it out. Then the Tumero, which got another testament there, but the Tumero products or the turmeric, that's a huge antioxidant. Once said to be more Th1 dominant, but I haven't had issues with it clinically with people that are sensitive. But I have had someone on Tumero for quite some time. And then I gave him a bottle of the Super Tumero at the same dose. Because if I remember right, the dosages are just a little bit different. So we kept the dosage the same, changed nothing else in their life, and then they actually were feeling better. And it's a chronic pain patient, a fibromyalgia patient,
Yeah.
um, and a not a simple evolution of the product, but an evolution of the product had made that much of a difference, and that was just one person. Um,
Right. Right.
and
No, no, that's terrific.
and with the Tumero, I'm sure with time we'll have that off our shelf, and then we'll just move straight to the Super Tumero every single time. I don't know, maybe, but
That's the fun in all this is you can really pick and choose. You can really, see how things work with certain patients, and I think that's the great thing about this is because a lot of these formulas get developed and they're designed to basically put you in the driver's seat. What do
yep.
you think is going to fit best for them? What do you think, and based on their lifestyle and how they operate and within their time and their day, what's going to be the most effective? Is it going to be a liquid? Is it going to be a capsule, a soft gel? Are the powders where they have to mix in with their smoothies? It's just such an amazing product line that Dr. Karazian has took so much time to put together. It really makes you understand more and more his model as you are in this every day.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can't speak enough about Apex Energetics as a whole and their products and everything that you guys do, and especially for sponsoring this. Um, is there anything else you want to say about Apex? Those are the highlights that I have written
You know,
down.
I would just touch on, if for clinicians that are watching this, if you are interested in wanting to learn more about Apex, they can go on our website, apexenergetics.com. If they want to learn more about our education and some of our seminars, they can go to apexseminars.com. We have a lot of fruitful information there. You can always call us and call the 1-800 number and ask to speak to either myself or the representative that's in your area. But I can really testify that if you've been working with patients, you feel like there's some tough cases coming in, maybe you want to be able to look at it now from a more functional medicine approach. We definitely have answers. We can help you. We can support you. We can hold your hand through it. We really want to be able to encourage clinicians to definitely use what we can provide for them.
Yeah, that's awesome. And for the clinicians and the patients out there, it's not easy work, because it's not like patient walks in with these symptoms, and I'm not negating what medical doctors do, but it's not like patient walks in these symptoms, here's this medication. Um, because we're looking at the body as a whole. So someone walks in with energy problems and you can go get something from a doctor for that possibly, but if they have energy problems, oh my gosh, let's go over the top 50 reasons why there could be energy problems. So then you have to use the clinical tools that Apex provides, maybe the clinical support, and then all of the clinical education to go from those 50 and funnel it down to the couple issues that are probably the major triggers for that person. And and it's not easy, and it can be scary, which is really odd, but it can be, and it still is. But I mean, it still is. Like, I remember Dr. Krasing talking about autoimmunity. He was talking to his wife, and she goes, "Are you excited to teach this weekend?" He's like, "No, because I'm talking about autoimmunity, and autoimmunity sucks, and it's hard." And one of the first things that he said when he taught was, like, for instance, he goes, "I don't have that much clinical confidence with autoimmunity." And that's coming from a man who's been around for doing this for decades, and he's done all this work. And it's not that he necessarily doesn't have clinical confidence, it's just that it can be rough. So it is just so awesome that there's more than just, here are the products, here's a little guide on maybe how to use them, good luck.
Right. Yes. A little bit more complex.
Yep.
Not as simplistic.
Yep. And for everyone else that's listening, the reminder to get products, you can go to online stores. Speaking of, Apex Energetics provides practitioner online stores. They will go to the website. For instance, it's myhcpstore.com. My username is Dr. Alex, Dr. Alex. And then patients can order anything they want from there, and Apex will drop ship them right to you. And that is huge for nowadays patients who do not want to leave the house, or are maybe long distance, or patients that I treat long distance that I started locally, but maybe they've moved, but they still want to continue care. I can easily just say, this is what you have to do to continue taking your maintenance products or whatever it might be. And we haven't even talked about that yet. That's huge. When you guys started doing that, that saved me like 5 hours a week on like drop shipping product. It was amazing.
Oh yeah, I agree. The patient portal is so huge because being able to deliver products where it can come right to their doorstep from our warehouse has been really successful.
Yep.
It's great for a lot of doctors that also had to do things more remotely. Maybe they didn't have a brick and mortar and they wanted to still work with patients remotely. So we're able to provide the patient's product directly. It is, there are requirements, being a password protected and things like that. So, they have to be able to work with the patient, recommend what's best to them, and then really being able to deliver it where they can get it in time. or if someone may need something maybe last minute and they can't go and drive to see the doctor, we can get it to them.
Yep.
Keeps patients on track too, because it'll have auto reminders saying, hey, you should be at this point in your product. Is it time to reorder? So a lot of great new attributes to that new system. But yeah, it's real easy to use. Clinicians can set up their own account, and then we can set them up with a PCOM account. And then from there, they can start learning about how to recommend the formulas, or even just start using them for yourself and your friends and family, and being able to give them some things and you can take it with them, because we have to always start with the loved ones first, right? If we can't help them, how are we going to help the people walking through the door?
At 100%. There's vitamin C and zinc all over our house, and it's all Apex. And I have my Omega Co 3. For instance, I'm doing a lot of housework, a lot of painting things, exposing myself to environmental toxins. Mm-hmm. So I have trisomal and Tumero and Resveratrol in my fridge that I'm taking every day to make sure that my liver is doing a good job detoxifying, amongst that with Clearvite, which is an amazing product for that as well. So
yeah, no, all top-notch products. A lot of those ones I take myself. So
yep.
Yep.
Well, I can't sing your guys' praises enough, and thank you again for being involved with the show. We'll have to have you on again when there's new products coming out.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I feel great coming on here. I'm really honored. I really enjoyed, working with you, and I'm so proud and happy that, how much your practice has grown, and you're doing a great job, man. Bravo.
Thank you.
To you. Yeah, no, keep up the great work. And I really like coming on and talking about functional medicine and talking about Apex. And yeah, we can talk about new products anytime. Hopefully we're going to be coming out with some more liposomal formulas to use during the winter time. So that'll be exciting as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome. Yeah. Or if anyone else from Apex wants to come on.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyone else that wants to come on and just talk about what it is that they do or what we can do for them, that'd be fantastic. So
yeah, absolutely. We love to talk about functional medicine. We love to talk about kind of what we're doing, what's going on, what seems to be in demand, what I've seen that's really popular, what people are interested in. And it's always great to share that with everyone else. The information is here to be used to help the clinician, to help as many people as possible.
Yep. Well, awesome. Thank you again, Victor. Appreciate everything.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Great to see you.
Okay. We'll talk again soon.
All right.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. All right, everyone. The Dr. Alex Show is brought to you by Apex Energetics, apexenergetics.com. First of all, to learn more about Apex Energetics, head on over to that website. If you want to get Apex Energetics directly, please call them 1-800-736-4381, or you can shop our online store. You can get to our online store at myhcpstore.com. Username is Dr. Alex. Otherwise, if you'd like to find a doctor that uses Apex Energetics, you can give them a call or go to the website and they'll direct you to a doc in your area that should be doing very good work with Apex Energetics. Apex has just been instrumental in our lives professionally and personally. About 6 years ago, we went through one of the most hellacious traumas that you can think of. And if it weren't for Apex with their stress support line of products, I probably would not be here. Point blank, period. And in the office, making the switch from other lines to Apex Energetics has sped up our results with our patients, supporting them through their healthcare needs, probably by 25%, if not more. And when it comes to Apex Energetics, we just want to remind everyone that we are here to not cure diseases, making claims. We're here supporting people, increasing their healthcare needs, and helping them achieve their goals. apexenergetics.com. The Dr. Alex Show is hosted by myself, a nerd, Dr. Alex Nelson. I'm a chiropractor, board certified in functional neurology and childhood neurodevelopmental disorders. The show is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or most any of your other favorite podcast apps. The Dr. Alex Show is a production of Fredcasts. Think, speak, act.